Hi guys, Jen here with Astrology and Earth Magic, and I'm here today to provide a little astrological wisdom on casting an electional chart for an event to make sure that it's going to be a success or to get as good as possible results. So this chart is for a vacation. So I've done this before, and this is actually part 2 of a disastrous vacation we took last month, and I'm gonna put that electional chart on the end of this video so that you can compare the two, because there was so many red flags that just showed that it wasn't going to be great. You'll see that these, the personal planets were in detriment in that video, including our chart ruler. Jupiter was in detriment, and we tried, but we ended up coming home in one day. This chart might look a little familiar because it's the same chart as the new moon in Cancer, and it's a nice chart. So I was really pleased to see that. So this chart looks a lot more positive. It's a couple hours later than the new moon. So I'm going to link the new moon video at the end of this as well, so you can compare the two and you can see the positivity that is kind of coming from that. So the new moon in Cancer was conjunct Jupiter. So that is conjunct our benefic and our major benefic in a day chart. So this is all about having faith, and this can be the start of something big. And this vacation has all the optimism of that new moon. And with the angles, we have Scorpio on the ascendant. So we have angles in this where we don't really look at that much when it comes to the new moon or the full moon charts. But this one we want to look at the ascendant. That is in Scorpio. And I picked a time that keeps us out of the Via Combusta, which is the time between 15 degrees of Libra and 15 degrees of Scorpio, which is kind of a bad luck time. And if you look at that chart, that's one thing I didn't even check. In the past chart from a month ago was right there, right in between at, I think it was like 18 degrees Libra. So right there. And just these are the things you want to check. Usually will bring like bad luck. It's more of a horary bad luck, time that you shouldn't look at, but I use the same thing with electional too. That also can be like a bad karma, which we did have. We had a lot of bad karma on that. So we look at the chart ruler. So if Scorpio is on the ascendant, the chart ruler would be Mars. And that represents the trip itself. Mars is a malefic, yes, but as a chart ruler, it's not really doing much harm because it is actually in the 11th house. So it's kind of tucked away. Not really a relevant house, but it's still the chart ruler. And it's making a nice sextile to Jupiter. Jupiter is that optimism planet, and it's conjunct that new moon. And it's also in the 9th house. So we have that very positive optimism and good luck in the 9th house, which is our house of travel. So I'm not worried about, Mars being the ruler, because it can be, as long as it's not making bad aspects to anything else. So it is still in a square with Uranus, but it is that separating square at a 5-degree orb now. I usually like my orbs a little tighter than that, like at 3. So again, it's there. Not super thrilled about it, but I mean, what can you do except for, make your vacation like another month later. So next I look at the moon, kind of the secondary ruler of either a horary or an electional chart. And that it's kind of like the shapeshifter. It takes on whatever role you are looking for it to be. The moon is really great. It's sextile to Mars. So both of our kind of rulers are sextile to each other. So they're playing off each other. And the moon is in dignity in Cancer because it's the new moon in Cancer. It's also conjunct the sun and conjunct Jupiter, who is in exaltation. So Jupiter is also in exaltation. So we have just really good positivity going into this. And in the 9th house, the house of travel. So you really can't get much better than that. I was super psyched to see where it all landed and where. So we picked the time, and the reason I picked the time that I picked was to put all that in the 9th house, that house of travel, to put all those positives in that 9th house. So, in the 9th house, the house of travel. So you also want to look at the house opposite the 9th, which It's the relevance house, and that is the third house, and that is in Capricorn. Ruler of that is Saturn, obviously. That is the ruler of the ninth house, making a harmonious aspect to the ruler of the third. So is the moon making a harmonious aspect to Saturn. It is in a separating square. Not great. So, but it's an orb of 9 degrees. 8 is usually the max I'll even look at, but it's there because the last one was so bad. I just take a look at it. So being that it is in Cancer, it's in a water sign, I do worry about the moon, more water, rain, because it's been raining like crazy, but maybe it's a positive because we are going to the lake. So that's water right there. But with both, Mars, square to Uranus, moon and Saturn square separating, I hope it means the negative influences are going to be a thing of the past. So hopefully we're going to just be leaving that behind. But Neptune also involved with that square with the moon. That's another water signifier, or maybe it's a dreams coming through signifier. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, because squares, you just never know. Usually they're a little bit rough. So we'll have to just see how that plays out, because I'm with my husband on the trip. I always look at Venus, and Venus is just lovely and perfect. It's in the 7th house. Like, it couldn't get much better than that. And it's the house of relationship, and she's in her dignity in the sign of Taurus. So Venus is super happy. So hopefully harmony, sensuality, all those things pleasurable, good food, good drinks, good shopping, all those things you love on vacation, and some love in there as well. And it's all sextile to Mercury, so easy, nice, flowing conversation, which we have anyway, but can't hurt. We already, we'll be back home before Mercury goes retrograde, which is, I think, the next day after we get home. Every planet is direct except for Pluto, but Pluto is retrograde so much of the time that I don't really put much thought into that, and even the outer planets in general. Saturn is, like I said, in that square with Jupiter, but I did tuck that away in the 6th house. And that is the house of health. Hopefully, because it's not super relevant, it's everyday work and routines as well. I was sick on our last vacation, which was another negative. Hopefully, I won't have that. So it's going to be in a couple days, feeling really good right now. So I have a real, focus on the positives and a realistic optimism. It all can't be perfect, but we want to look at what is looking good, and I think it's looking good. So might have a little bit of bumps here and there, but I think otherwise it's going to be great. I'm going with my original thought, with faith, good things will happen, and I have faith our luck will turn around on this vacation, and I think we're gonna have a great time. So stay tuned. I'll give you an update. I'll be posting a bunch of fun shorts from our vacation and our adventures that we're gonna be on, different places to eat, different things to do, places to go. I think you're gonna love it, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll see them pop up, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And I will see y'all soon for our monthly coming up in just a couple days. And I think that the monthly for July is going to be a doozy, so definitely stay tuned for that. So I will see y'all soon. Bye.